Hello and welcome back to Etheric Tide. I have our weekly pick a card. I'm just going to give these a shuffle and I'm going to select 1, 2, and 3. And I would like you guys to take a breath, feel into it, and whichever one you're drawn to, it's okay if you pick 1, 2, or 3, or all 3, if you so choose. Okay. Alright, we've got number 1. Number 1. Ooh. Ooh. Number 2. And I gotta recognize this. So for all of the readings, I just want to acknowledge, and I'm going to bring this up in each of the readings, so it's influenced by the 8 of Cups. All 3 of them will be. Alright. And that is number 3. So for those who chose number 1, we have the Moon. Now, I am going to influence that with the 8 of Cups here. So I think this is really appropriate, and you can even see like moon. We did just have the full moon, and generally when the full moon comes in, it's about walking away from the things that we held on so dearly for such a long time. This is patterns, behaviors, attachments. In this particular case, I think that it is attachments, and we're walking away from, I think that we're walking away from needing other people to fulfill certain things. And I think that a veil, and usually like when the moon comes out, this is also a Pisces card as well, if that's significant. Doesn't have to be, but there's a lot of water in this one. There's a lot of water, which means a lot of emotions, and it's probably letting go of emotional attachments to close relationships. I feel like this is probably a time where you feel like you have to step away, and I think that's okay. It's okay to go into an emotional neutral, if you will, where you've gotten so far with another person, you've put in so much, and you've expected so much from the other person, and sometimes you need to accept that we can't expect someone to act a certain way, be a certain way, because that's very much a conditional way of loving. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, especially if we feel the other person isn't living up to the standards that we want. It's not up to them to be anything that you think they should be. It's up to them to decide what is right for them and how they need to change in order to keep you in their life. And it's your job to do the same. So I think what's going to be revealed to you is, don't look at it as giving up, because I think maybe you've invested a lot within this relationship, and you've put in so much effort, and sometimes we get into that cycle of like, I've been in this for so many years, let's say 4 years, and I put in all this effort, and I really love this person, I care about this person, or maybe they're even a loved one or a family member, and it's not in your mind so easy to walk away. This isn't about physically walking away necessarily. Sometimes, like I said, emotional neutral. It's about having to withdraw and no longer invest resources, time, energy, words, love, money even, into it anymore, and just allow the universe to put in the right circumstances in order for that person to have the learnings that they need to in order to come at you in the correct way. So that's for you guys, for number 1. Alright. Number 2. Ooh, lots of emotions going on. So we've got ourselves the Knight of Cups, and I'm going to influence this with the 8 of Cups. So what are you walking away from? What are you leaving behind based on the full moon? I think you're letting go of a fantasy. I think that, again, I feel like this is actually a little bit of a tack on to number 1. So if you chose number 1, or you've chosen number 2, maybe go to number 1 as well, just to get a little bit more information. So I think that for this week, whatever the relationship is, perhaps you have had your hopes set on it going a certain way, or that person being a certain way, expecting a person to be the knight in shining armor, the man on the white horse, or the woman on the white horse, depending on who you are. Gender doesn't matter. And it also doesn't matter whether this is love or a friendship or a family member. I am being brought up, and this is something that's come up for me this week in my learnings, is about the rescuer. Are you asking to be rescued? Do you see yourself as a victim? Are you the person that is in that rescuer mode and makes the other person, when we go into rescuer mode, we make it seem as if the other person is unable to draw upon their own personal resources in order to make the right choice. It's like you're saying, you can't do it, so I'm going to do it for you, so I'm going to rescue you. It also can apply when we go into that victim mode and we want them to rescue us, as in possibly growing up, you had to do things yourself, and you didn't feel like you had the love, the resources from your parents, and you probably bounce from relationship to relationship, or friendship to friendship, and you're relying upon them in order to fulfill an emotional need for you, and generally the other person can really feel that you are relying upon them to fill an emotional void. It's not up to them to fulfill the emotional void, and it's not up to you to fulfill the role of rescuer or teacher. You don't decide what another person needs to learn, and that's quite difficult. Going into that sort of rescuer mode is very tempting. It's very tempting to play out these trauma attachments over and over again. And I think that's what I would be encouraging you to walk away from. Where am I acting like a victim? And where am I asking to be rescued? What points in my life am I depending on another person to do something that I so possibly could be bringing from myself? And in the opposite, where am I giving too much, and the other person should be drawing on their personal resources? Okay, so that's number 2. For number 3, what do we got? Hermit. And we're going to be influenced by the 8 of Cups there. Hermit is a beautiful card. It stands for Virgo. It's drawing upon our inner knowledge, going within and doing the work. So it's very much like, and the star is inside the little lantern there. So it's kind of like inner healing work. And again, with the influence of the 8 of Cups here, I'd say for those who have chosen number 3, you have been doing lots of shadow work, or inner trauma, healing, letting go. I think you guys would probably benefit from any sort of process, whether that be like a mantra or a meditation or something, some sort of tradition, like going through some sort of process where there's an intention set and there's action that goes along with it, to ceremony. Yeah, I think ceremony is the word. So whatever you can do this week where you're ceremoniously putting out into the universe that, okay, I've gone within, I've seen the places where I need to grow, and the places where behaviors that I have done in the past, or perhaps I've noticed that I'm still doing, and they're not working, and just getting honest with yourself and not judging yourself. Not judging yourself for just don't get frustrated. It's like, oh, I did that thing that I always do again, or the relationship turned out just like the last one did, or they left me just like the last one. Whatever that belief system is for you, that you're like, it happened again, and that frustration of, why haven't I learnt this by now? I would like you to be a bit kinder to yourself. Don't judge yourself just because it's come up again, because I mean, retrograde, it's going to bring up your stuff from the past, retrograde the past, and the next one, and you know what, in a small way, this is possibly going to come up for you again in the future. Not as bad. Each time round we get a deeper learning. So I think for you guys, do those ceremonies of letting go, do your meditations, however way that looks for you and your particular methodology or belief system. And it's time to move away from the emotional judgment that we have on ourselves and the behaviors that we full know that we need to let go of. So that's for you guys. Just be kind to yourself. Be kind with the words that you're saying to yourself. It's okay. It's okay that we have certain parts of ourselves that we want to let go. And just know that it's not the easiest thing in the world to even recognize that there's something wrong in the first place, and that's something to be really commended. To be able to look at oneself and go, oh, I see you, I see this, and I can work on this and I can grow. That takes a lot of courage. Some people aren't even at that place yet. So that's for you guys, number 3. That's all the readings for Pick a Card. If you would like a personal reading, the details are in the description. Go to www.etherictide.com. And I do hope you have a beautiful week and the rest of Mercury retrograde. See you guys later. Bye.